This winter I had two options: stop building projects or build something that heats my shop. Well, I've never built a wood stove before, but you can't say that your whole life, right? I have a couple of propane tanks, some scrap metal, and questionable welding skills, so I guess we'll see where we can go with those. On a side note, if you're gonna use propane tanks, make sure they're completely empty before you start cutting. You don't want to start the project off with a bang. I did, however, decide that this particular project would be easier with a plasma cutter, so I got this cheapo Chinese one off Amazon. There's just one problem. My house is really old, so I only have a 15 amp feed to my shop. Because of this, I kept blowing the breaker over and over again. This is why you'll notice I tend to only weld or plasma cut an inch or so at a time. I'm trying to avoid having to run all the way into my house and down to the basement to flip the breaker. Some days I get tired of having to do that, so I just bust out the old generator. Alright, so today we gotta install the chimney parts on the roof here. I forgot to record that, but we got a hole up there now. And to cut through the roof, I just used a circular saw with a blade that I didn't mind getting messed up. Oh yeah, that's perfect actually. Now I know some of you are professional chimney installers, but realize that my shop is literally slowly falling down and unfixable due to the hodgepodge way it was put together. So I'm just doing what works and is affordable. Alright, set up for now. Once I get the fireplace built and some more pipe to run down to it, we'll get her set up the rest of the way. You'll notice that I switched welders here. My experience was limited to flux core and torch welding, so I decided to use the rest of this project as a way to learn stick welding. All that to say, cover your eyes if you're sensitive to ugly welds. I think I started figuring it out towards the end though. Alright, so check this out. I literally just took that glove off from welding and put it down. And look at how big that thing is. It was on the glove while I was wearing it. I tried grinding the paint off, but it was super tough, so I decided to burn off what coatings I could. I didn't want them burning off in my shop and causing noxious odors. This is a great way to bend steel into a circle. You basically just weld two bolts together and put them in a vise and slowly bend the steel along its length until it's a circle. You may also notice that I sometimes use several different tools for the same type of cut or activity. I do this to show that there's more than one way to get it done and you don't need all the tools to build something. But if you are interested in all the tools, I'll have some links below for the ones I use that you can check out. This is the moment I learned molten metal and a $400 camera lens don't mix. I had just gotten it too, so that made it hurt even more. To make the window, I decided to use an old glass 3D printer bed I had. It's made out of borosilicate glass, which is apparently extremely hard to cut, and I broke it as soon as I tried, so I ordered another one. And I promptly broke that one too. Someone let me know if there's some trick to cutting borosilicate. Anyways, at this point, it was getting colder and colder, and I just wanted to get the stove done, so I decided to nix the window. So after all that work, will it actually burn and draft properly? It did actually work pretty well, and surprisingly didn't smoke up my shop at all. After some testing, I figured out that when it's below freezing outside, this thing can raise the temperature in here by about 30 degrees Fahrenheit, which means I can actually feel my fingers again. Not too shabby considering it's drafty and completely uninsulated. By the way, partway through I switched my camera to the iPhone 16 Pro. Can you tell where?